The Moss family has been gorgeous for a few ages. They are respected by quite a few people. In light of their magnificence, which thusly makes them huge load of cash. The oldest child, Okis, is a web powerhouse. He has a great many devotees as a result of his looks and is moreover considered an adoration master who assists men with intriguing their squashes. The dad, Pakur, used to be a heartbreaker who dated in excess of 1,200 young ladies prior to meeting their mom. In the interim, the mother can likewise be considered attractive due to her manly elements and an undeniable mustache. In conclusion, the hero, Kulin, is the most youthful child and the most appealing of all. The family has become accustomed to their life as individuals with great looks. With the exception of Kulin, who battles to live regularly in light of his attractiveness. He frequently wishes he was just somewhat alluring. Like that, he could go out without being pursued by a horde of ladies like clockwork. Young ladies go off the deep end, pass out, pull their hair, and frequently get nose drains on getting a gander at his alluring face. Subsequently, he has never had real connection with a young lady. He tries not to go out in broad daylight so much as could be expected and has been self-taught till now. Kulin has no companions he can converse with other than his pet fish. He frequently plays a card game with it and converses with it without holding back. His family watches him through a camera in stress. They believe he should have a typical young life and make an honest effort to help him. Okis regularly shows him pictures of young ladies, attempting to attach him with somebody. Notwithstanding, Kulin says that his sword in young ladies is somebody who could do without him. He needs to be seen for his character and interest, not his face. When nothing attempts to persuade Kulin to go out, the family makes it a stride further. They intend to counterfeit monetary issues and responsibility him into going to a school. One night when Kulin awakens to hydrate, his folks imagine to be stressed over their funds. They emphatically proclaim that they will, as it were, have fried eggs for breakfast until they bring in sufficient cash for Kulin's self-teaching. He feels terrible to bring his folks such a lot of hardship. The following morning, he pronounces that he will be going to class for the impending semester. The family is thrilled until he makes reference to that he will simply go to an all-young men's school. Despite the fact that they would have favored him to have the option to converse with young ladies, they are glad to approach slowly and carefully. A couple of days after the fact is Kulin's most memorable day at an genuine school. Okis drops him off on his bicycle, however Kulin doesn't take his protective cap off. He designs to wear it the whole day to conceal the reality he is attractive. Notwithstanding, the arrangement misfires when the protective cap gets more notice than he expected to. Kulin unobtrusively plunks down in the last seat yet is gotten down on by the class menacidi and his flunkies. At the point when the educator enters the homeroom, she also is shocked to see a person with a head protector. She asks him to take it off. Right that moment, albeit hesitant, Kulin has absolutely no chance except for to oblige. He gradually takes the protective cap off in an emotional manner, uncovering his face. In the accompanying scene, the educator is being stacked into a rescue vehicle. It just so happens, she began to nosebleed and hyperventilate on the grounds that of Kulin's excellence. Different children gripe to the central that the new understudy is excessively attractive to deal with. Kulin goes through the passage to return home yet is stumbled by one of the harassers. They carry him to the school storeroom and present themselves like they are power officers. They are known as the Tig Attack, a gathering of 3 domineering jerks drove by Sidi, the Vital's child. Later, the beyond ridiculous presentation, they uncover that they need Kulin's assistance to ask a young lady out for prom. The gathering has been in the senior year of school for the beyond 3 years. They decline to graduate until Sidi goes to the prom with the most gorgeous young lady of the BBM school, Amanda. Nonetheless, she just acknowledges demands from attractive men, so the gathering believes Kulin should convey the proposal. They dole out an honest person, Kibbo, to help Kulin and lead the way. Kibbo has likewise been a casualty of their tricks before and is obliged to do what the harassers say. A while later, Kulin goes to the mains office with Kibbo to submit an authority question about tormenting in school. Kibbo understands what the result will be, nevertheless he actually goes with Kulin. The chief is upset by his child declining to graduate. Since Kulin's excellence allows him an opportunity to take Amanda to the prom, the chief believes them should do anything the harassers say. That night, Kulin and Kibbo choose to follow through with the job the following day and get free of the obligation. Kibbo is the main individual who has offered grace to Kulin, irrelevant to his magnificence. Albeit the day didn't go as expected, he is glad to have acquired a companion. The following morning, they go to the BBM school where the young ladies smell the presence of the young men. They are severe about not permitting monstrous young men to enter the school premises. Consequently, when they notice Cullen wearing a cap, the whole school requests that he take it off. In a climactic scene, Cullen takes the cap off and pandemonium results among the young ladies. A couple of hours after the fact, the news makes it to the TV. Clasps of young ladies crying, seeping through their noses, getting had. Furthermore, bouncing around are being shared overall around virtual entertainment. Cullen begins being known as the too attractive to even think about taking care of fellow. The most blazing understudy of the BBM school and model. Named Amanda additionally hears the news and is immediately stricken by Cullen. He is the primary person who matches in magnificence and status with her. She promptly makes it her central goal to dazzle him. At the point when the news becomes gigantic, a horde of young ladies assembles before the Moss home. The family begins charging them cash for a house visit. Cullen, who is concealing in the roads, sees his family on the news. He feels sold out and utilized by his own kin. At the point when they call him, he rejects to get back home and feels considerably more troubled when his pet fish is misused and killed by the vacationers. He is currently on the top of a structure stowing away from the crazy people pursuing him in the roads. Unexpectedly, a young lady shows up behind him and asks in the event that he will leap off the rooftop. Cullen looks at her in shock since she doesn't drain from her nose or drop on seeing him. The young lady will not talk and just leaves. Cullen is apprehensive to such an extent that he can barely talk. The experience fills his heart with joy significantly better. Sometime later, he calls Kibbo, who gets him and welcomes him to his home. He and his grandma invite Cullen to remain however long he needs. On strolling into Kibbo's room, he sees two interesting collectibles playing a card game and is stunned by them. They understand that they share a few normal interests and playing card assortment is one of them. The next day, they visit the all-young lady school to search for the young lady from yesterday. While they are grinding away, they likewise meet Amanda and give her the documents of the proposal sent by CD. Amanda professes to be unamused by Cullen's excellence, yet after he leaves, her nose drains plentifully. Cullen sees his crush on the steps, however different young ladies encompassing him don't permit him to meet her. For the following couple of days, Kibbo and Cullen do everything together and become closest companions. One evening, Kibbo takes Cullen to play futsal, where he as often as possible goes to meet his crush, Rear. After the match, Cullen sees the young lady from the rooftop working at a shop close by. He can't resist the urge to gaze at her. All of a sudden, Kibbo shows up and acquaints Rear with him. Cullen finds that she is likewise Kibbo's crush, who he was discussing before. The two appear to be pretty close, which makes Cullen desirous. He can barely nod off that evening on the grounds that the inclination is new and befuddling to him. Then, he recollects Okies is an adoration master and fixes a gathering with him. At the point when they meet the next morning, Oki separates sobbing tears of satisfaction. He had been trusting that the day will offer his sibling guidance on young ladies. Cullen has pardoned his loved ones for selling him out to his fans, since, in such a case that had not occurred, he couldn't ever have met Rear. The siblings then go out on the town to shop for food while Okies drills down the places of things Cullen ought to do to intrigue his crush. As Cullen follows Oki's ideas, he enlists he is a long way from realizing Rear like Kibbo knows her. In any case, he actually doesn't have any desire to abandon his most memorable love. One evening, Amanda comes to the young men's school and hands Cullen a greeting for her birthday. Close by it, she likewise gives him a telephone as a gift. Soon thereafter, Kibbo, Cullen, and Rear go to karaoke. At last, Rear and Cullen get to sing together. While Cullen is eager to two-part harmony with her, Rear just spotlights on Kibbo. He soon registers that she likewise prefers Kibbo back. The disclosure causes his heart to fold in envy. Thus, when Kibbo isn't anywhere near, he obtusely inquires as to whether she really likes him. At first, Rear denies it, however when Cullen lies about Kibbo being enamored with Amanda, her face drops. Her articulation is sufficient to validate his intuitions. In the wake of getting back, Cullen calls Amanda and inquires her for some help. She joyfully consents to do whatever he says. The following day, a few group accumulate at the scene to commend her birthday. At the point when Cullen and Kibbo show up, Amanda invites them. Unusually enough, she is by all accounts more keen on Kibbo than in Cullen. She even pulls him to the side to talk to him in private. Simultaneously, Rear shows up at the party and sees Amanda kissing Kibbo. More. Finally, Kibbo orders him to get out of the house right away. Realizing that he is off base, Cullen just leaves. He at last gets back following a month. His family is excited, however the equivalent can't be said for Kulin. He secures himself in his room and doesn't converse with anybody. Be that as it may, in particular, he misses his closest companion. The two catch each other on occasion, however share nothing in excess of a look. At home, Kulin's mom is stressed over his prosperity. She moves toward him one evening and gives him his pet fish that never kicked the bucket. She likewise lets him know that he can return to being self-taught. He favors assuming that the family just believes his joy and is prepared should do anything for it. Kulin, contacted by her words, understands that he has individuals in his day-to-day existence who are pulling for his victory. This rouses him to make things right among him and Kibo. The following morning, he runs to Rear and tells her beginning and end. Following that, he goes to Kibo and attempts to apologize. In spite of the fact that Kibo excuses him from the outset, when gotten some information about Rear, he begins to portray the amount he loves her. Kulin shows him that Rear was paying attention to him on the telephone the whole time. Like that, he retouches their relationship and returns to being both their companion. A couple of days after the fact, they generally go to prom together. Kibo's date is Rear while Kulin's date is Amanda. True to form, Kulin and Amanda come out on top for the championship of prom lord and sovereign. Kulin hears a young lady remark that he is just somewhat attractive and is in a flash attracted to her, showing the beginning of another relationship. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.